Soft rain falls outside a small-town diner. The glow of neon lights reflects off the wet asphalt. When Ava walked into the diner that night, she wasn't looking for a miracle. She just wanted a cup of coffee and a quiet corner to hide from her own life. But fate had other plans, and they began with 6 strange words from a stranger in a tailored suit. Act like you're my wife. Ava was a woman of quiet strength, 32, recently laid off from her job at a flower shop, barely scraping enough to keep her mother's old house from being taken by the bank. Every morning she woke up to overdue bills and empty cupboards. Yet she still smiled at strangers as if hope itself was her last possession. That night the diner was almost empty. The man who sat 2 booths away didn't belong there. His wristwatch probably cost more than her car. He had that cold, distant air, the kind that wealth gives to those who've forgotten how to be ordinary. Then suddenly, his sharp blue eyes met hers. "Please," he said quietly, almost desperate. "Act like you're my wife." Before Ava could even process it, 2 other men walked in, dark suits, tense faces. They scanned the room like hunters. The stranger smiled, held her hand across the table, and whispered, "Just play along." "Please." They sat there pretending, his hand trembling slightly in hers. The men looked, nodded, and then left. Silence followed, broken only by the hum of the coffee machine. Ava tried to pull away, but the stranger said, "Wait, please." "Let me explain." He told her his name was Ethan Ward, a self-made millionaire. His father had passed away 2 weeks earlier, leaving him control of a massive company, but only if he was married. Otherwise, everything would go to his father's manipulative business partner. "I didn't want to drag anyone into this," he said softly. "But when I saw you, you looked like someone who wouldn't judge." Ava blinked in disbelief. "So, you just want me to pretend? For what, a day?" Ethan looked at her, a trace of sadness in his voice. "For 1 week. Stay in my mansion, attend the lawyer's meeting, and then you'll never see me again. I'll pay you whatever you need." She hesitated. Her pride screamed no, but her circumstances whispered yes. And so she agreed, unaware that 1 week would change both their lives forever. The mansion was something out of a dream. Endless hallways, marble floors, a view of the ocean that looked painted by God himself. At first, Ava felt like a ghost in someone else's life. But Ethan, the cold, guarded man she met in the diner, began to thaw. They laughed over morning coffee. He asked about her mother, her dreams. She caught him watching her sometimes, not with hunger, but with something far more dangerous, affection. For the first time in years, Ava felt seen. But on the 6th day, as they prepared for the final meeting with the lawyers, Ethan grew distant again. His eyes, once warm, turned to glass. That night he stood by the window and whispered, "There's one condition I didn't tell you about." Ava frowned. "Condition?" He nodded. "My father's will doesn't just require me to be married. It requires me to stay married for 1 year. If I divorce before that, I lose everything." Ava's heart sank. "Then why tell me this now?" Ethan looked away, his jaw tight. "Because I can't ask you to live a lie for that long. You've been kind, and you deserve your own life back." She stared at him, the man who once saw her as a stranger, now pushing her away with trembling hands. "What if," she whispered, "I don't want to leave?" The next morning, Ava was gone. No note. No payment. Only a small white rose left on the marble table, the kind she used to sell at the flower shop. Ethan searched for her for months, but she had vanished into the simplicity of small-town life once more. A year later, at the same diner where it all began, Ethan returned. No suits, no arrogance. Just a man who finally knew what mattered. He ordered a coffee, and when the waitress came by, his hand froze midair. It was her. Ava looked older, softer somehow, but her smile was the same. "You came back," she said quietly. "I had to," he replied. This time, no pretending. She laughed, tears glimmering in her eyes. No conditions? Ethan shook his head. Just one. Stay, if your heart says the same thing mine does. And in that tiny diner, love finally stopped pretending. Sometimes the richest hearts are found in the poorest places, and love when real needs no conditions.